The other shoe will always drop when you are riding the Duality roller coaster, period. But you have the power. Welcome back to One's journey of unwinding the mind and, of course, your daily microdose. Now tune in to the latest episode of One's journey. Today, we're going to go on an adventure. Today, we are going to talk about roller coasters. Do you love roller coasters, or are you deathly afraid of them? I feel like that is a very polarizing event that either people absolutely love or they absolutely hate. So I, growing up, absolutely loved roller coasters and loved the thrill of the slow climb and then the crazy, here we go, there is no stopping until the 10 seconds are over and you're back at the line again and you got to go away another 2 hours. But today's type of roller coaster, I want to talk about the roller coaster of duality. And the reality of it is that we live in an illusion of duality. And we have talked about duality before. Duality is where there's an up, there's a down, where there's a left, there's a right. There's always an opposite to what you are experiencing. And when you place weight on it, you are going to experience the other shoe drop, and you're going to experience it in the same manner with the same amount of weight, so it's going to be even more painful because you have placed so much weight on it when the shoe drops. The other shoe will always drop when you are riding the Duality roller coaster, period. But you have the power to get off the roller coaster emotionally and not to allow it to impact you. So I often tell my clients that when you find yourself in those super high highs, because that's what we crave for. Like, we're taught that those dopamine hits are where true happiness lies. But I'm here to tell you that's not really happiness. That is like a heroin addict getting a hit. In fact, true happiness and internal peace lies in that middle ground of it just is, calm waters, whatever you want to call it, but that really serene place of there's no weight on the highs and there's no weight on the lows. It just is, and I know my truth, and I know I'm the dreamer of the dream. But let's be honest, we're not all Buddha. We're not all Jesus. So the fact of the matter is, in the process of untying the ego, we will find ourselves on the duality roller coaster. And then you say, Ashley, shit, what do I do? I'm on the duality roller coaster. And I say, choose different. Flip your perspective. What do I mean by that? So let's say you are super, like you own a business. And you just got a ton of new clients and you are riding high, girl or guy, and you are feeling amazing and you are just filled with so much happiness, right? That's what it feels like. But you realize, crap, this happiness is only dependent on the fact that this happened. Meaning I got more clients, or meaning you got the girlfriend, or you got the new job, or whatever it is, but your happiness is being dependent on outside of you. And that's when you realize, I accidentally bought a ticket on the duality roller coaster. That's okay. So think of an actual roller coaster. If you've actually ever looked at a roller coaster, and as you go up the roller coaster, you will notice there is stairs all along the side. And that's before you hit that first drop, right? There's stairs going all the way up. So I've actually seen this before at Valley Fair in Minnesota, but that is for if something happens on the way up. Say the coaster gets stuck, it doesn't get the momentum it needs to go forward because it needs momentum, right? That's why it goes up and then slowly drops and then holy crap, all this weight, and it goes crazy. It's much easier to get off the roller coaster when there is a ladder, right? So if you notice yourself on the roller coaster and you're already in the up, it's much easier to choose different than when you have already made it all the way to the top of the roller coaster and the top is starting to peak off, right? It's starting to waver and about to go down. You can still kind of maybe get off, but once that thing starts going down, it is a lot harder to get off the roller coaster. And in that process, we tend to place a whole bunch of weight. Hence the momentum of a roller coaster, right? It's the propulsion or whatever, I don't know the scientific terms, but that causes the roller coaster to go really, really fast and all of these up and downs, and it's so out of control because you have fully placed all of your weight into the roller coaster. What do I mean by you can choose different? What I mean is when you realize you're on the duality roller coaster, you are coming from the ego belief system. Your happiness and peace is dependent outside of you. So if you are depending on your happiness outside of you and in the ego belief system, that means the second something happens that it's no longer comfortable or good or ranks into happiness for you, you're going to crash. You are going to come tumbling down because your perspective has shifted to outside of you. What do you do in that moment? Can you be excited about things happening outside of you? Yes. But if that is the source in which you are obtaining your happiness, then you are 100% in the ego belief system. You have to be able to be just as happy with or without that thing, and just as happy if something negative happens. So at any moment, choose different. At any point, you find yourself on that duality roller coaster and you picture this video and you're like, shit, I bought a ticket on the duality roller coaster. Don't place more shame and guilt that you got on the roller coaster. Roller coasters are super enticing. And especially when you still are not fully untied from the ego. It is really, really enticing to hop on that roller coaster. All you do is own it, and it is what it is, and you choose different. You choose to remind yourself to remember where your happiness truly is, which is within you. And that truly nothing outside of you can ever provide you happiness, and nothing outside of you can ever hurt you. It is your perception. So again, hop off that roller coaster and choose different and realize again that it just is. Don't place more shame and guilt, because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be adding momentum to the roller coaster while you're getting off it. And remember, we're getting further and further away from that ladder, and it's going to get harder and harder because you're placing all these new layers and new momentum into the roller coaster that isn't necessary. And it also, for me, helps even just saying like, oh crap, I hopped on the duality roller coaster again, because it makes light of the situation. It makes it more into a funny instead of a, I did something bad, right? You were a curious kid and you hopped on the duality roller coaster, just like I talk about how I believe we got here. We're the curious kid, my analogy of it. And it's not bad. It's not good. It just is. We're here. We got to figure it out and get out. So you're here. You're on the roller coaster. It just is, but I don't want to be on the roller coaster anymore, so I'm going to choose different. Some people choose to ride the roller coaster out, and that's okay too. But you have to understand that you are choosing to do that, because if you don't and you feel like it's happening to you, that's when shame and guilt is going to build. So, okay, I'm on the duality roller coaster and I'm going to ride this thing out. Do you know that if you are at the top of the roller coaster and feeling the highs, that eventually the other shoe will drop, aka the roller coaster will go down. So you know that your perspective in that place is probably going to shift pretty significantly to pain and suffering and separation, because that is the whole purpose of the duality roller coaster, to remind you that you are separate and that you must suffer because you are a sinner. But that's not the truth, right? And that's why you have the power to switch at any moment, because it isn't true. It's a lie. If it was true, you wouldn't be able to switch it so easily in that moment. Again, when you choose to get off that duality roller coaster, know that it doesn't necessarily change what happens outside of you. You are choosing to change your perspective of it and the weight you've placed on it, right? So the other shoe will drop, but you won't feel the other shoe drop. It won't impact your happiness because your happiness isn't based on the other shoe, right? Your happiness, you know, is eternal and within and has nothing to do with outside of you. Again, think of an actual roller coaster. And when it gets to the top, it wavers, and the more weight that's put on it, the faster it goes. So your job is to release the weight, choose different, don't create more shame and guilt, and remember where your happiness and peace truly comes from, and that is within, and that nothing outside of you can impact you, either good or bad. That's why it's the duality roller coaster, because it's not just about the lows. And I think oftentimes we get sucked into that when we're in the high highs, that's okay, because it's something positive. But if something can be positive and negative, was it ever positive or negative? No, it just is, but we have changed our perception. This was one of my funnest videos I think I've ever done. The duality roller coaster. Share, share, share. I love you so much. And as always, until next time, remember you are worth it. And try not to buy a ticket on the duality roller coaster. But if you do, it's okay.